Hello there, and welcome to The Sleepy Scientist, a place where curiosity slows down and familiar parts of the universe feel gentle again. Tonight, we turn our attention to the lunar phases, the quiet and predictable changes of the moon as it moves calmly around Earth. Before we begin, allow yourself to settle. Let your shoulders soften, your breathing become slow and unforced, and your thoughts loosen their grip. There is nothing you need to remember and nothing you need to follow closely. This time is simply for listening and rest. The moon does not hurry. Its phases unfold in a steady rhythm that has remained unchanged for billions of years. Night after night, the light we see shifts gradually, never abruptly, guided by simple geometry and patient motion. This consistency is one of the most familiar and calming patterns in the natural world. Lunar phases are not changes in the moon itself, but changes in how sunlight reaches its surface and how that light reaches us. The moon continues on its quiet path, while light and shadow move slowly across its face. This gentle interplay creates a cycle that repeats without effort, month after month. As we continue, we will explore relaxing facts about the lunar phases, how they form, how they remain perfectly predictable, and how their slow rhythm has shaped human observation for as long as people have looked up at the night sky. These reflections are meant to soften attention, slow the mind, and guide your thoughts gently toward rest. If you enjoy these calm journeys through space and gentle science, you're always welcome to subscribe and return whenever you need quiet curiosity or peace. For now, simply listen and allow the familiar steady rhythm of the moon to drift softly into the background. Let us begin. The cycle of lunar phases exists because the moon moves steadily around Earth, while sunlight always illuminates half of the moon's surface. What changes is not the moon itself, but the angle from which we observe that light. This gentle geometric relationship creates a slow and predictable rhythm, where light gradually grows and fades without sudden shifts or interruption. The moon completes one full cycle of phases roughly every 29.5 days, a pace slow enough to feel natural and familiar. This period has remained constant for billions of years, allowing the lunar rhythm to become one of the most stable timekeepers in the natural world, quietly marking the passage of weeks without urgency. During the new moon phase, the side facing Earth receives very little visible sunlight. The moon is still there, moving calmly through space, but its illuminated side faces away from us. This absence of visible light is not emptiness, but a pause in the cycle, a moment of quiet balance before light slowly returns. As the moon moves into its waxing phases, sunlight begins to touch a small portion of its visible surface. The illuminated area grows gradually, night after night, in a way that feels steady and reassuring. Nothing happens all at once. The change is subtle enough that it invites patience rather than attention. The half-lit moon, often called the first quarter, represents the precise balance between light and shadow. At this moment, exactly half of the moon's visible face is illuminated, a result of its position relative to Earth and the Sun. This balance highlights the quiet order of orbital motion, where predictable paths create calm outcomes. As the moon approaches fullness, the illuminated portion continues to increase at a constant pace. The growing brightness is not caused by added energy, but by changing perspective. This gentle increase reflects how many natural processes rely on viewpoint rather than force, allowing beauty to emerge without effort. The full moon occurs when Earth sits between the Sun and the moon, allowing sunlight to fully illuminate the side facing us. Even at its brightest, the moon does not produce light of its own. It simply reflects sunlight softly, reminding us that illumination in nature often comes through reflection rather than creation. After the full moon, the cycle begins to reverse, entering the waning phases. Light slowly retreats from the moon's visible surface, decreasing night by night in the same calm manner it once increased. This symmetry gives the lunar cycle a soothing sense of completion without finality. Throughout all phases, the Moon's physical surface remains unchanged. Craters, plains and mountains stay exactly where they are. The shifting appearance is purely the movement of light and shadow across a constant landscape, reinforcing the idea that change can occur without anything being lost or altered. Over long periods of observation, the lunar phases reveal how motion, light, and time work together harmoniously. The Moon never rushes through its cycle, never skips a phase, and never varies its pace. This steady repetition creates a rhythm that mirrors calm breathing, offering a familiar pattern that gently anchors attention and allows the mind to rest. The crescent phases of the Moon appear when only a thin curve of sunlight reaches the side we can see from Earth. This curve is not fragile or fleeting. It forms slowly and consistently, shaped by the Moon's steady motion along its orbit. Each night the crescent thickens or thins at a measured pace, creating a visual reminder that growth and change do not need to be dramatic to be meaningful. During the waxing crescent, the Moon rises slightly later each evening, quietly adjusting its schedule without drawing attention. This gradual shift has been happening for as long as the Moon has existed, offering a dependable rhythm that unfolds regardless of seasons, years, or human activity. The sky simply follows along, night after night. The boundary between light and shadow on the Moon is called the terminator, a soft dividing line that moves slowly across the lunar surface. Along this boundary, shadows stretch gently over craters and plains, revealing texture without harsh contrast. This slow movement allows the Moon's surface to feel calm and dimensional rather than stark or sharp. The Moon's phases are the same everywhere on Earth, regardless of location. Whether observed from a quiet desert, a city balcony, or a coastline, the phase remains identical. This shared experience connects distant places through a single, steady pattern, reinforcing a sense of global calm and continuity. As the Moon continues its orbit, the time between moonrise and moonset changes gradually. These changes are subtle enough to go unnoticed from one night to the next, yet over weeks they form a smooth progression. This slow adjustment mirrors many natural cycles that influence life quietly without demanding awareness. The waxing gibbous phase fills most of the Moon's visible face with light, leaving only a gentle curve of shadow. Even as brightness increases, it does so evenly, without sudden jumps. The Moon appears fuller not because it has changed, but because its position allows more reflected sunlight to reach us. The predictability of lunar phases allows them to be calculated far into the future. Calendars can mark full moons decades ahead with precision. This reliability comes from simple orbital mechanics repeating consistently, showing how order in the universe often arises from repetition rather than complexity. The waning gibbous phase begins after the full moon, when light slowly recedes from the surface we see. The decrease in brightness follows the same calm pace as its increase, reinforcing symmetry in the cycle. Nothing ends abruptly. Light simply moves on, as it always does. Throughout the waning phases, the Moon rises later in the night and eventually closer to dawn. These shifts happen quietly, aligning the Moon with early morning skies rather than evening ones. The cycle continues seamlessly, transitioning without pause or disruption. Across centuries, the phases of the Moon have remained unchanged, even as everything else on Earth has transformed. Civilizations rose and fell, landscapes shifted, and skies changed, yet the Moon's phases continued their steady rhythm. This long consistency offers a quiet sense of permanence, reminding us that some patterns in nature exist beyond urgency, change, or demand, moving calmly forward as they always have. As the Moon continues its quiet journey, the waning crescent phase appears as a thin arc of light just before dawn. This delicate shape is created not by disappearance, but by the Moon's steady movement into a position where sunlight reaches only a small portion of the surface facing Earth. Each morning, the crescent grows thinner at a calm and predictable pace, offering a gentle reminder that cycles naturally move toward rest without needing an ending. During the waning crescent, the moon often rises in the early morning hours, sharing the sky with stillness rather than activity. The world below is quieter at this time, and the moon's presence feels subtle and unintrusive. This alignment between lunar motion and the quietest hours of the day creates a natural harmony that has existed long before artificial schedules or clocks. The transition from the last visible crescent back to the new moon is seamless. There is no sudden change or final moment. The illuminated portion simply becomes too small to see from Earth, while the moon itself continues moving calmly along its orbit. This unseen passage highlights how absence in nature often represents continuity rather than loss. Throughout the entire lunar cycle, the moon's speed remains nearly constant. It does not accelerate during bright phases or slow down during darker ones. This even pace ensures that each phase receives equal time, reinforcing balance within the cycle and preventing any sense of rush or delay. The moon's orbit is slightly tilted relative to Earth's path around the sun, which is why eclipses do not happen every month. This gentle tilt adds complexity without disruption, allowing lunar phases to proceed calmly while rare alignments occur only occasionally. Most of the time, the moon and sun pass one another quietly, maintaining their steady pattern. As lunar phases repeat month after month, they create a rhythm that subtly influences observation rather than action. The moon does not demand attention. It offers a pattern that can be noticed or ignored without consequence, allowing individuals to engage with it at their own pace or simply let it exist in the background of the night sky. The consistent order of lunar phases has allowed people across cultures to develop shared ways of measuring time. Months, tides, and seasonal markers were often guided by the moon's steady cycle. This shared reference point helped human societies align gently with natural rhythms, rather than impose strict divisions. Even when clouds obscure the moon, its phase continues unchanged behind them. The cycle does not pause or adjust based on visibility. This independence from observation reinforces the idea that natural processes unfold steadily, regardless of whether they are being watched or recorded. The moon's surface reflects sunlight in a soft, muted way due to its dusty composition. This reflection does not produce glare or harsh brightness, even at full moon. The quality of lunar light remains gentle throughout all phases, contributing to its calming presence in the night sky. Taken together, the later phases of the lunar cycle emphasize return and continuity rather than conclusion. Light fades, shadow grows, and then the cycle begins again without interruption. This repeating motion offers a sense of reassurance, showing that change in nature often follows a calm loop, where rest and renewal are built into the same quiet rhythm. As the lunar cycle continues beyond the familiar crescents and halves, the moon's motion remains steady and unhurried, tracing the same orbital path it has followed for billions of years. This repetition creates a sense of reliability in the night sky, where change happens gently and nothing feels unexpected or abrupt. The subtle shifts in the moon's position from night to night are small enough that they often go unnoticed. Yet over time, these shifts accumulate into a full cycle of phases. This quiet accumulation mirrors many calming processes in nature, where gradual movement leads to meaningful change without drawing attention to itself. The moon's phases are shaped entirely by relative position, not by any internal transformation. The moon does not grow, shrink, brighten, or dim on its own. Instead, it continues reflecting sunlight in a consistent way, while Earth's viewpoint changes slowly. This reinforces the idea that perspective alone can alter appearance without altering substance. During the quarter phases, the line dividing light and shadow appears almost perfectly straight. This straightness is an illusion created by viewing a curved surface from a distance. The effect highlights how gentle geometry and distance combine to create simple, soothing visuals in the sky. The slow rhythm of the moon has remained stable, even as Earth itself has changed. Continents have shifted, climates have evolved, and life has transformed, yet the moon's cycle has continued uninterrupted. This deep consistency offers a sense of calm continuity that stretches far beyond human time. The moon's phases also influence how it moves across the sky, rising and setting at slightly different times each day. These shifts occur gradually, aligning the moon with different parts of the night or early morning. This gentle variation adds subtle interest without breaking the overall sense of calm. The surface features of the moon become more pronounced near the terminator, where shadows are longest. Mountains and craters cast soft, extended shadows that reveal texture slowly. This gradual reveal allows observation to feel relaxed rather than stimulating. Because the lunar cycle is so regular, it allows anticipation without tension. One can know exactly when the next phase will arrive without needing to prepare for it. This predictability removes uncertainty and supports a sense of ease when watching the moon's progression. Throughout the cycle, the moon maintains a constant distance from Earth with only slight variation. This stability ensures that its phases remain consistent in size and brightness, reinforcing the idea that calm repetition depends on stable relationships rather than change. In observing the moon's later phases, the mind can rest in the understanding that nothing is being lost or gained. Light shifts, shadow moves, and the cycle continues smoothly. This endless return offers a quiet reassurance that natural rhythms are designed to repeat gently, providing continuity rather than finality. As the lunar cycle continues its gentle progression, the moon's presence in the sky becomes a quiet companion rather than a focal point. Its changes are slow enough that they blend into the background of daily life, allowing observation to happen without effort. This ease makes the moon a natural symbol of calm continuity, always present, always moving yet never demanding attention. The predictability of the lunar phases means the sky never feels uncertain. Each phase arrives in the same order, at the same pace, guided by orbital motion that does not vary. This regularity creates a sense of trust in natural rhythms, where one can look upward and know exactly what will come next, without surprise or disruption. As the moon moves farther along its orbit, the angle of sunlight continues to shift gently. This gradual change causes the illuminated portion to slide slowly across the surface, revealing familiar features from new angles. Nothing new is created, yet the changing light offers quiet variation within sameness. The moon's steady movement influences how long it stays above the horizon each night. Sometimes it lingers, sometimes it passes more quickly, but these differences unfold smoothly over weeks. This gentle variation adds subtle texture to nights without breaking their peaceful flow. Lunar phases also affect how the moon appears against the stars. As it travels, it drifts slowly eastward, passing different star fields each month. This motion is calm and deliberate, allowing the moon to wander the sky without urgency, sharing space rather than dominating it. The reflected light of the moon remains soft throughout all phases. Even when the illuminated portion is large, the light lacks harshness, spreading gently across landscapes and clouds. This quality of moonlight has long been associated with rest and quiet observation rather than activity. As phases repeat, they form a cycle without beginning or end. There is no true starting point, only continuous motion. This looping structure encourages the mind to let go of linear thinking and settle into repetition, where comfort comes from familiarity rather than progress. The moon's orbit remains slightly inclined, which means its path across the sky changes subtly over time. These small shifts happen slowly enough that they are barely noticeable, adding variety without disturbance. The sky remains calm, layered with gentle complexity. Even when unseen, the moon's phase continues unchanged. Daylight, weather, or clouds do not interrupt the cycle. This independence from observation reinforces the idea that natural processes unfold quietly on their own without needing recognition or response. In watching the moon move through these later phases, the mind can rest in the assurance that the pattern will return again. Light will grow, light will fade, and the rhythm will continue exactly as before. This endless, gentle repetition offers a sense of stability, reminding us that some movements in the universe exist simply to provide balance, calm, and a steady place for attention to soften and drift. As the lunar cycle moves onward, the moon continues its calm journey without marking milestones or pauses. Each phase flows into the next so smoothly that boundaries feel gentle rather than defined. This seamless transition allows the cycle to feel like a continuous motion instead of separate stages, encouraging the mind to follow without effort. The moon's orbit remains steady and slightly elliptical, meaning its distance from Earth changes only a little over time. These small variations are subtle enough that the phases remain consistent in appearance. This stability reinforces the sense that the lunar rhythm is reliable, even when small changes quietly exist beneath the surface. The light reflected from the moon reaches Earth after travelling through open space, arriving softened by distance. By the time it touches the ground, it carries no urgency or intensity. This softened light contributes to the moon's calming presence, offering illumination that feels gentle and unobtrusive. As the moon continues through its phases, it maintains the same face toward Earth, a result of tidal locking. This means the same features are always visible even as light and shadow change. The familiarity of this constant view adds comfort, as the landscape never feels unfamiliar or new. The shifting phases subtly influence how the moon interacts with Earth's environment, particularly the tides. These changes happen slowly and predictably, driven by gravity rather than sudden force. The gentle rise and fall of tides mirrors the moon's own calm rhythm, reinforcing a sense of natural balance. The moon's phases also affect how it appears in relation to the horizon. Sometimes it rises higher, sometimes lower, depending on the season and its position in the cycle. These variations unfold gradually, allowing the sky to change its patterns without breaking the overall calm. As the illuminated portion of the moon decreases during waning phases, the night sky becomes slightly darker. This gradual dimming happens so slowly that it rarely draws attention. Instead, it supports a quiet transition toward rest, where darkness feels natural rather than abrupt. The lunar cycle does not respond to human schedules or calendars. It continues at its own pace, independent of clocks and routines. This independence can feel reassuring, reminding us that some rhythms exist beyond planning, offering steadiness without expectation. Over long periods, the repetition of lunar phases can create a sense of grounding. Knowing that the moon will return to the same appearance again and again provides a quiet anchor in a changing world. This repetition supports calm observation rather than anticipation. In these later phases, the moon demonstrates how motion and rest coexist in nature. It moves constantly, yet feels still. Light shifts continually, yet nothing feels unsettled. This balance between change and constancy allows the lunar cycle to remain one of the most soothing patterns in the night sky, gently guiding attention towards rest without ever asking for focus. As the lunar cycle continues onward, the moon's motion remains smooth and uninterrupted, following the same curved path it has traced for countless generations. There is no pause between phases, only a gentle continuation, which gives the entire cycle a flowing quality rather than a segmented one. This smoothness allows the mind to rest in continuity, where nothing feels abrupt or incomplete. The moon's phases unfold without any internal change to the moon itself. Its surface remains the same solid landscape of plains and craters, quietly reflecting sunlight. What changes is only the angle of light and shadow, reminding us that transformation in nature often comes from perspective rather than from alteration. During this part of the cycle, the moon often appears during quieter hours of the night or early morning. Its presence feels subtle, sometimes overlooked, yet steady. This timing aligns naturally with stillness, allowing the moon to exist alongside silence rather than activity. The gradual change in the moon's illuminated shape can only truly be noticed over several nights. From one evening to the next, the difference is minimal. This slow pace encourages patience and soft observation, where awareness can remain relaxed without needing to track details. The moon's predictable rhythm has made it a natural reference point for rest and reflection across cultures. Long before artificial lighting, people became familiar with the way moonlight gently changed from night to night. This familiarity created a quiet relationship between observation and time, grounded in repetition. The soft boundary between light and shadow continues to move steadily across the moon's surface. This motion reveals and conceals features without drama, allowing texture to appear gradually. The effect is calming as nothing is revealed all at once and nothing disappears suddenly. As the moon advances through these phases, its light interacts gently with Earth's atmosphere. Moonlight scatters softly, illuminating clouds and landscapes without sharp edges. This diffusion adds to the moon's restful quality, making its presence feel ambient rather than direct. The lunar cycle also continues unaffected by Earth's seasons. While the sky changes, temperatures shift and days lengthen or shorten, the moon maintains its steady rhythm. This independence offers a sense of constancy that exists alongside change, rather than being disrupted by it. The moon's gravitational relationship with Earth remains stable throughout all phases. Gravity does not increase or decrease with brightness. Instead, it works quietly in the background, maintaining balance without calling attention to itself, much like many unseen processes in nature. Through this part of the cycle, the moon quietly reinforces a sense of reassurance. It shows that change does not need to be urgent, that movement can be calm and that repetition can be comforting. By continuing its steady pattern without variation, the moon offers a gentle reminder that some rhythms exist simply to provide balance and rest, allowing attention to soften and drift naturally. As the lunar cycle continues through this quieter portion of its rhythm, the moon's movement feels increasingly familiar, almost like a steady companion that requires no attention to be reassuring. Night after night, it follows the same path across the sky, never rushing, never lingering too long, allowing the mind to trust that its presence will return exactly as expected. The gradual changes in the moon's appearance during this stage are so subtle that they often blend into memory rather than observation. One evening gently resembles the next, creating a soft continuity that feels soothing rather than repetitive. This sameness allows the mind to rest without needing to track progress or anticipate what comes next. The moon's orbit remains smooth and stable, guided by gravity that has balanced Earth and Moon together for an immense span of time. This balance prevents sudden shifts or irregular motion, reinforcing a sense of calm order in the sky. The relationship between Earth and Moon unfolds quietly, without strain or interruption. During these phases, the moon's light often appears softer and more diffused, particularly when it rises or sets. Passing through more of Earth's atmosphere near the horizon, the light becomes warmer and gentler. This softened glow adds to the moon's calming presence, blending easily into the surrounding darkness. The changing angle of sunlight continues to trace the moon's surface slowly. Craters and plains slip in and out of shadow at a pace too slow to notice in a single moment. This gradual reveal and concealment creates a sense of depth without contrast, encouraging relaxed observation rather than focus. The moon's position against the stars continues to drift quietly. Each night it moves slightly eastward, passing new constellations without lingering. This slow wandering adds variety without urgency, allowing the sky to change gently while remaining familiar. The lunar cycle remains unaffected by events on Earth. Weather, seasons, and human activity do not alter its pace. This independence can feel comforting, as it reminds us that some rhythms continue steadily, regardless of circumstances, offering a reliable backdrop to changing days. The repetition of phases during this part of the cycle can feel like a quiet reassurance. There is no need to remember which phase comes next, because the pattern has already been learned through experience. This familiarity allows attention to soften, knowing that the cycle will continue without effort. The moon's constant face toward Earth adds to this sense of familiarity. Even as light shifts, the same features remain visible, anchoring change to something stable. This combination of change and constancy helps create a feeling of gentle continuity rather than uncertainty. As these phases unfold, the moon quietly demonstrates how motion and rest can exist together. It is always moving, yet it never feels hurried. Light is always changing, yet nothing feels unsettled. This balance offers a calming example of how natural cycles provide stability, not by stopping change, but by guiding it gently, allowing the mind to drift and rest within a rhythm that never demands attention. As the lunar cycle continues into this quieter stretch, the moon's presence feels almost effortless, as though it has settled into the background of the night sky. Its motion remains steady and predictable, guided by the same gravitational balance that has existed for ages. This reliability allows the moon to feel less like an event and more like a constant calm companion overhead. During this part of the cycle, the moon's light is often softer and more restrained. The illuminated portion no longer draws attention, but instead blends gently into the surrounding darkness. This subtlety allows moonlight to feel ambient rather than prominent, supporting rest rather than focus. The moon's slow movement across the sky during these phases encourages a relaxed sense of time. Hours pass quietly as the moon drifts without urgency, reminding us that not all motion needs to be noticed to be meaningful. This unhurried pace mirrors natural breathing, steady and unforced. The gradual shift of the terminator continues to reveal familiar lunar features from slightly different angles. Shadows lengthen or shorten gently, adding depth without contrast. This slow change allows the surface to feel calm and continuous, never demanding close attention. The moon's relationship with Earth remains unchanged throughout these phases. Gravity continues its quiet work, holding the system together without fluctuation. This steady interaction reinforces the sense that balance in nature often exists silently, without visible effort. As the moon moves through this part of its cycle, it often appears in the sky during quieter hours, sharing space with stillness rather than activity. This timing aligns naturally with rest, allowing observation to happen passively or not at all. The repetition of these phases can feel comforting rather than monotonous. Familiar shapes return night after night, creating a visual rhythm that requires no interpretation. This repetition offers a gentle anchor, especially in moments when the mind seeks something stable and predictable. Even when attention drifts away from the sky, the moon continues its cycle unchanged. Its independence from observation allows it to serve as a quiet reminder that many processes unfold smoothly without needing awareness or control. The moon's soft glow during these phases interacts gently with clouds, landscapes and water, creating reflections that feel calm rather than sharp. This interaction adds to the overall sense of ease, where light exists without urgency. In these moments of the lunar cycle, the moon demonstrates how familiarity and repetition can be deeply restful. By continuing its steady rhythm without variation, it provides a calm structure within the night, allowing thoughts to slow, awareness to soften, and rest to arrive naturally, without effort or expectation. As the lunar cycle approaches the end of its familiar rhythm, the moon continues moving with the same calm precision it has always maintained. There is no sense of arrival or completion in its motion, only continuity. Light continues to shift across its surface without pause, reinforcing the idea that cycles in nature do not conclude so much as they gently loop back into themselves. During this stage, the moon's visibility often feels quieter, less prominent in the sky. Its presence does not command attention, yet it remains steady and dependable. This subtlety allows the moon to feel like part of the night itself, rather than a focal point, supporting a sense of ease rather than awareness. The gradual reduction of visible light does not signal loss but transition. The moon remains whole and unchanged, continuing its orbit with the same balance as before. This gentle transition reminds us that absence in nature is often just another form of presence, one that does not require explanation or concern. The moon's motion during these phases continues to influence Earth in quiet ways. Tides respond steadily to gravitational pull, rising and falling without disruption. These movements mirror the moon's own calm progression, reinforcing the connection between distant motion and gentle change closer to home. As the moon draws nearer to completing its cycle, the rhythm becomes deeply familiar. The sequence of light and shadow has repeated so many times that it feels instinctive rather than learned. This familiarity allows the mind to relax into expectation without anticipation, knowing the pattern will continue naturally. The sky during these phases often feels more spacious, with darker nights that invite stillness. Stars appear clearer, and the moon's softer presence blends seamlessly into the background. This balance between light and darkness creates an atmosphere that feels settled and complete. The moon's orbit does not acknowledge beginnings or endings, it simply continues, guided by gravity and momentum that never change their pace. This absence of finality offers reassurance, suggesting that rest does not require conclusion, only continuation. Throughout this part of the cycle, the moon remains indifferent to attention. It neither asks to be observed nor reacts when unnoticed. This quiet independence allows it to exist as a steady backdrop, reinforcing the idea that calm does not depend on engagement. The repetition of lunar phases across centuries has made them one of the most dependable rhythms in the natural world. This dependability offers comfort, showing that some patterns exist purely to provide stability, without needing to evolve or adapt. As this portion of the cycle unfolds, the moon gently returns toward the quiet of the new phase, completing another turn without ceremony. Light fades, shadow grows, and the rhythm continues seamlessly onward. In this unbroken motion, the lunar cycle offers a lasting sense of calm, reminding us that rest is found not in stopping, but in moving gently within patterns that never rush and never ask for attention. As the lunar cycle continues beyond what feels like a familiar completion, the moon simply carries on, unchanged in pace or purpose. Its motion does not recognize milestones or counts. It moves because it always has, tracing the same quiet path through space, reminding us that natural rhythms extend beyond the way humans divide and label time. The moon's steady orbit remains governed by a balance that rarely shifts. Gravity holds Earth and Moon together in a calm relationship where neither pulls too strongly nor drifts away. This stability allows the cycle of phases to repeat with remarkable consistency, offering a sense of reassurance rooted in balance rather than control. Even as the illuminated portion becomes less noticeable, the moon itself remains fully present. Every crater, plain and ridge continues to exist exactly as before, simply turned away from direct sunlight. This constancy beneath changing appearance reflects how many things in nature remain whole, even when they are not fully visible. The continuation of the lunar rhythm beyond a single cycle emphasizes how repetition in nature does not lead to exhaustion. The moon does not wear down or lose clarity through repetition. Instead, each cycle feels as calm and steady as the last, reinforcing the idea that repetition can be restorative rather than draining. The moon's movement remains smooth because space offers little resistance. There is no friction to slow it, no obstacles to divert it. This openness allows motion to remain gentle and uninterrupted, contributing to the sense that the moon glides rather than travels. The subtle changes in the moon's angle relative to Earth and the Sun continue to create familiar shapes that return again and again. These shapes do not demand recognition. They simply appear, linger briefly, and move on, allowing observation to remain passive and relaxed. As the moon progresses through this extended rhythm, it continues to influence Earth quietly. Tides respond, ecosystems adjust subtly, and night skies shift gently. These effects occur without urgency, demonstrating how influence in nature often works softly and indirectly. The moon's phases also continue to serve as a quiet reminder of scale. While human days feel short and busy, the lunar month stretches comfortably, offering a broader sense of time that encourages patience rather than haste. This wider perspective can ease the feeling of pressure often associated with daily routines. Even when unseen, the moon's presence remains consistent. It moves through daylight skies as calmly as it does through darkness, carrying its cycle forward regardless of visibility. This independence from observation reinforces the idea that calm systems do not require attention to function smoothly. As the lunar rhythm carries on beyond any single count, it invites the mind to let go of tracking altogether. There is no need to know where the moon is in its cycle at every moment. The pattern continues gently on its own, offering a steady, unbroken flow that supports rest, reflection, and a sense of quiet continuity that feels both familiar and endless. As the lunar rhythm continues beyond familiar markers, the moon maintains its calm relationship with Earth without any sense of progression or completion. It simply remains in motion, guided by gravity that has neither urgency nor intention. This ongoing movement reinforces the idea that some natural processes exist purely to continue, offering steadiness rather than milestones. The moon's surface remains unchanged throughout this extended cycle. Craters, plains, and ancient impacts stay exactly where they have always been, resting quietly beneath shifting light. This constancy beneath variation shows how appearance can change while essence remains steady, a concept that often feels grounding and reassuring. The light reflected from the moon during these later moments continues to arrive gently, softened by distance and angle. Even when only a small portion is visible, the quality of that light remains calm and muted. It does not demand attention, allowing the night to remain restful and undisturbed. The moon's orbit remains smooth because it exists in a space free of friction. There is nothing to slow it abruptly or push it off course. This uninterrupted motion allows the moon to glide through its cycle effortlessly, reinforcing a sense of ease in its continued presence. As the moon continues along its path, it maintains a quiet consistency in how it interacts with Earth's environment. Tides continue to rise and fall predictably, responding to gravity without drama. These slow movements echo the moon's own rhythm, connecting distant motion with gentle change closer to home. The repetition of lunar phases across countless cycles does not dull their effect. Instead, familiarity often deepens appreciation. Knowing what comes next allows observation to relax, freeing the mind from anticipation or concern and allowing it to rest within the pattern itself. The moon's passage through the sky during these phases often goes unnoticed, blending into the background of night and early morning. This subtlety allows the moon to exist as part of the environment rather than a focal point, supporting calm awareness rather than focused attention. Even as cycles extend beyond what we count or track, the moon's timing remains exact. Its period does not drift or vary significantly. This precision, maintained over immense spans of time, offers a quiet sense of reliability that can feel comforting amid uncertainty elsewhere. The moon's presence during daylight hours continues just as steadily as at night. Though unseen, it carries on its cycle without pause. This quiet persistence reminds us that visibility is not required for continuity, and that many steady processes unfold beyond awareness. As the lunar cycle carries forward into yet another repetition, it invites the mind to stop counting altogether. There is nothing to finish and nothing to begin. Light will return, light will fade, and the moon will continue moving gently along its path. In this endless, calm repetition, the lunar rhythm offers a soft place for attention to settle, where rest is supported not by stillness alone, but by motion that never rushes and never asks to be noticed. As the lunar rhythm continues beyond familiar boundaries, the moon remains quietly faithful to its path, tracing the same orbit with no awareness of cycles or counts. Its motion feels almost meditative in its consistency, reminding us that repetition in nature is not stagnation, but a form of gentle continuity that allows balance to persist. The moon's changing appearance during this stage remains a matter of light alone. Sunlight continues to arrive at a steady angle, touching different portions of the lunar surface as the moon moves. Nothing is added and nothing is taken away. The slow dance between light and shadow continues without interruption, offering change that feels soft rather than decisive. During these phases, the moon often appears at times when the sky itself is quiet. Early morning or late night hours frame its presence with stillness, allowing it to exist alongside silence rather than activity. This pairing reinforces the moon's association with calm observation and rest. The moon's gravitational influence remains constant, regardless of how much of it is visible. Its pull on Earth does not increase with brightness or diminish with shadow. This steadiness beneath visual change highlights how many important forces operate quietly, unaffected by surface appearance. As the moon continues through its orbit, it maintains a gentle relationship with Earth's rotation. The shifting times of moonrise and moonset unfold slowly, adjusting night by night without sudden change. This gradual movement supports a sense of natural timing that feels unforced and easy to follow. The lunar surface continues to reflect sunlight evenly, without producing glare or sharp contrast. Even when the visible portion is small, the quality of light remains soft. This consistency helps the moon maintain a calming presence, regardless of phase. Throughout these extended phases, the moon's path across the stars remains smooth and deliberate. It passes familiar constellations slowly, never lingering too long and never rushing past. This wandering feels calm and unhurried, like a quiet journey rather than a destination-driven movement. The moon's orbit is shaped by a balance that has remained stable for billions of years. This long-term stability allows the cycle of phases to repeat reliably, offering a sense of reassurance rooted in deep time. The moon does not adapt or adjust its rhythm, it simply continues. Even when attention drifts away from the sky entirely, the moon's cycle remains unchanged. Its independence from observation reinforces the idea that calm systems do not rely on awareness or control. They unfold naturally, without instruction. As this portion of the lunar rhythm carries on, it gently invites the mind to release the need to track progress. There is no endpoint approaching and no moment to anticipate. The moon continues moving quietly through space, repeating its cycle with patience and grace, offering a steady background rhythm where rest can emerge naturally, supported by motion that never rushes and never insists on being noticed. As the lunar rhythm continues well beyond familiar counts, the moon remains entirely unconcerned with where one cycle ends and another begins. It moves forward in the same calm orbit, guided by gravity that has not changed its nature for immense stretches of time. This continuity reinforces the idea that natural rhythms exist without checkpoints, flowing gently rather than progressing toward conclusions. The moon's surface remains a quiet constant beneath shifting illumination. Ancient craters and plains rest unchanged, holding their shapes regardless of light or shadow. This steady presence beneath variation offers a calming contrast, showing how stability and change can coexist without conflict. During these extended phases, the moon often appears smaller or less prominent, not because it has altered, but because perspective has shifted. This gentle lesson in viewpoint reminds us that presence does not depend on prominence. The moon remains just as real and complete, even when it draws less attention. The steady motion of the moon continues to shape night subtly. Its rise and set times adjust slowly, never surprising the sky. This gradual pacing allows the night to feel predictable and calm, supporting rest rather than alertness. The moon's reflected light remains soft and indirect, shaped by distance and angle. Even at its dimmest visible phases, the light carries the same gentle quality. This consistency contributes to the moon's long association with quiet reflection and rest. Throughout these later moments, the moon's gravitational influence continues to operate silently. Tides respond in their slow, steady rhythm, rising and falling without urgency. These movements mirror the moon's own calm passage, reinforcing a sense of natural balance that feels dependable and reassuring. The moon's path through space remains free of resistance. With no atmosphere to slow it and no obstacles to alter its course, it glides smoothly along its orbit. This effortless motion adds to the feeling that the moon moves without strain, offering a model of calm persistence. As the moon continues along its route, it maintains the same face toward Earth, a quiet consequence of tidal locking. This familiar view anchors change to something known, allowing light to shift while the landscape remains recognizable and steady. Even as phases repeat again and again, the moon's cycle does not lose meaning. Familiarity does not dull its presence. Instead, repetition deepens comfort, allowing the mind to relax into a pattern that requires no interpretation or response. As this extended portion of the lunar rhythm unfolds, the moon continues its journey without signaling progress or completion. Light will return, shadow will deepen, and the cycle will carry on seamlessly. In this unbroken motion, the moon offers a steady, calming reminder that rest can exist within movement, and that continuity itself can be a quiet source of peace. As the lunar rhythm continues forward without concern for counting or completion, the moon remains steady in its motion, following the same curved path that has guided it for ages. This persistence gives the cycle a feeling of quiet reliability, where nothing needs to be checked or confirmed for the rhythm to continue smoothly. The moon's illuminated edge during these moments appears delicate and understated, shaped by angles rather than intensity. Light reaches the surface softly, touching it in a way that feels measured and calm. This gentle contact reinforces the idea that illumination does not need strength to be meaningful. The vast distance between Earth and the moon plays a quiet role in maintaining this calm. Light and gravity travel across that space without resistance, creating effects that are slow and even. This distance acts as a buffer, ensuring that interactions remain gentle rather than abrupt. The moon's orbit continues to align gracefully with Earth's rotation, creating nights where its presence feels naturally timed. Sometimes it accompanies the late evening, other times the early morning, but always with smooth transitions that do not disturb the quiet flow of time. The surface of the moon remains a record of deep time, holding features shaped long before life appeared on Earth. These ancient markings rest beneath changing light, offering a sense of permanence that contrasts softly with the movement of phases above them. The moon's cycle also continues to influence human perception subtly, even when unnoticed. Familiar shapes return without effort, offering reassurance through repetition. This quiet familiarity allows the mind to feel grounded without needing to engage actively. The relationship between light and shadow on the moon remains balanced throughout these stages. Neither dominates for long. Instead, they exchange space slowly, creating a visual rhythm that feels calm and evenly paced, without sharp contrast or urgency. As the moon drifts through these extended moments, its path across the stars remains gentle and unhurried. constellations shift behind it gradually, reinforcing the sense that the sky itself moves patiently, guided by patterns that do not change suddenly. The gravitational bond between Earth and Moon continues to operate silently. It does not announce itself, yet it shapes oceans, nights, and motion with quiet consistency. This unseen influence reflects how many stabilizing forces in nature work without calling attention to themselves. As this portion of the lunar rhythm carries on, the Moon offers a steady reminder that calm does not require stillness alone. It can also exist within motion that is smooth, predictable, and free from urgency. In this gentle continuation, the cycle provides a peaceful backdrop where attention can soften, thoughts can slow, and rest can arrive naturally without needing to mark where the rhythm began or where it will go next. As the lunar rhythm continues into this later stretch, the Moon remains quietly faithful to the same gentle principles that have guided it since its formation. Its motion does not accumulate tension or momentum. Each moment is balanced by the one before it, allowing the cycle to feel smooth and unbroken, like a calm current rather than a sequence of steps. The Moon's presence during these phases often feels understated, blending into the night rather than standing apart from it. This subtlety allows the sky to feel spacious and open, where nothing competes for attention. The Moon simply exists alongside darkness and stars, contributing to the overall sense of calm rather than interrupting it. Light continues to touch the Moon at shallow angles, creating soft transitions between illuminated and shadowed regions. These transitions are gradual, with no sharp edges. The surface appears gentle and rounded, reinforcing the idea that change in nature often happens through slow blending rather than clear divisions. The Moon's path remains steady because it is guided by a balance that does not fluctuate. Earth's gravity holds it securely, while the Moon's own momentum carries it forward without resistance. This quiet partnership allows motion to continue indefinitely, without strain or correction. As these phases unfold, the Moon often occupies parts of the sky associated with rest and stillness. Late-night hours and early mornings frame its presence with quiet, allowing observation to feel optional rather than necessary. This timing aligns naturally with moments when the world slows down. The repetition of lunar patterns during this stage does not feel redundant. Instead, it deepens familiarity. The mind no longer needs to identify or label the phase. Recognition becomes instinctive, allowing awareness to relax without effort. The Moon's reflected light continues to interact gently with Earth's atmosphere, scattering softly and illuminating clouds without sharp contrast. This diffused glow contributes to the Moon's long-standing association with calm reflection, rather than activity or alertness. Even as the Moon continues through extended cycles, its influence on Earth remains constant and measured. Tides respond smoothly, ecosystems adjust subtly, and nights pass without disruption. These effects unfold quietly, reinforcing the sense that balance in nature is often maintained without noise. The Moon's ancient surface remains unchanged beneath shifting light. Its features are reminders of immense time resting quietly while phases come and go above them. This contrast between permanence and motion offers a grounding sense of stability. As this portion of the lunar rhythm carries on, the Moon gently illustrates how continuity itself can be restful. There is no need to track progress or anticipate what comes next. The cycle continues calmly on its own, offering a steady, familiar backdrop where thoughts can soften, awareness can drift, and rest can settle naturally into place. As the lunar rhythm extends even further, the Moon continues along its path with the same quiet steadiness, unaffected by how many times its cycle has already unfolded. Its motion remains smooth and balanced, creating a sense of trust that nothing unexpected will occur. This consistency allows the Moon to feel like a constant presence rather than an event, supporting calm awareness rather than attention. The moon's appearance during these moments often feels subdued, as if it has settled into the background of the sky. Light touches its surface gently, never harsh or demanding. This softness allows the night to remain spacious and restful, where the moon contributes without competing for focus. The geometry that creates lunar phases continues to operate with perfect simplicity. Earth, moon and sun maintain their positions relative to one another without deviation. This simple arrangement produces endless repetition without complexity, showing how calm patterns can emerge from straightforward relationships. As the moon moves through these later phases, its path across the sky remains predictable. It rises and sets gradually, shifting position night by night with smooth precision. These small changes unfold quietly, allowing the sky to feel familiar even as it changes. The moon's surface continues to reflect sunlight evenly, regardless of phase. There are no sudden changes in brightness or tone. This consistency contributes to the moon's calming quality, where light remains gentle and never overstimulating. Throughout this extended rhythm, the moon's gravitational presence remains unchanged. It continues to influence Earth subtly, shaping tides and long-term stability without interruption. This quiet influence demonstrates how powerful forces can operate gently without drawing attention. The moon's long companionship with Earth reinforces a sense of continuity that spans beyond human experience. It has followed this same rhythm through countless nights, offering a steady pattern that persists regardless of time or circumstance. Even as cycles repeat far beyond what we count, the moon never appears worn or diminished. Each phase feels as complete and calm as the last. This renewal through repetition suggests that steadiness itself can be sustaining rather than exhausting. The moon's presence during these phases often aligns with moments of stillness, when activity slows and the world feels quieter. This natural alignment supports rest, allowing the moon to exist as part of the environment rather than something to observe actively. As this portion of the lunar rhythm continues, it quietly invites the mind to let go of counting and categorizing altogether. There is no finish line and no beginning to anticipate. The moon moves on, light shifts gently, and the cycle remains open and ongoing. In this endless continuation, the lunar rhythm offers a peaceful backdrop where attention can soften, thoughts can slow, and rest can deepen naturally, supported by motion that never rushes and never demands awareness. As the lunar rhythm carries on beyond familiar sequences, the moon remains entirely at ease within its orbit, moving without urgency or deviation. Its path is not guided by intention or awareness, but by balance that has been stable for immense spans of time. This effortless continuation gives the cycle a calming quality, where nothing feels as though it needs to be managed or directed. The moon's light during these later moments often feels especially gentle, shaped by shallow angles and distance. The illumination does not flood the night but rests softly upon it. This subdued presence allows darkness and light to coexist comfortably, creating an atmosphere that feels settled rather than contrasting. The relationship between Earth and Moon remains unchanged through countless repetitions. Gravity continues its quiet work, holding both bodies in a steady exchange that neither intensifies nor weakens. This constancy offers reassurance that some connections in nature are deeply reliable, unaffected by surface change. As the moon continues along its orbit, its motion through the sky remains smooth and predictable. Night after night, it shifts position slightly, never startling the eye. These small adjustments unfold so gradually that they feel like a gentle drift rather than movement. The surface of the moon remains a calm record of deep time. Its features, shaped long ago, lie quietly beneath changing light. The phases do not alter the landscape itself, only how it is seen. This separation between appearance and reality reinforces a sense of underlying stability. The lunar cycle continues independently of human awareness. Whether observed or ignored, the moon follows its rhythm without pause. This independence can feel comforting, suggesting that balance in the universe does not depend on attention or control. The repetition of phases far beyond familiar counts emphasizes how natural cycles are not meant to be completed, but continued. There is no final phase that signals an end. Each transition leads naturally into the next, maintaining a sense of openness rather than closure. The moon's presence during these extended phases often feels subtle, blending seamlessly into the background of the night. Its light does not demand focus, allowing the mind to remain relaxed. Observation becomes optional, not required. The steady nature of the lunar rhythm can gently influence perception of time. Moments feel less hurried when framed by a cycle that unfolds over weeks rather than minutes. This broader rhythm encourages patience and ease, offering relief from faster patterns of daily life. As this portion of the lunar cycle unfolds, the moon continues its journey quietly, without acknowledgement of progress or completion. Light will return, shadow will deepen, and the rhythm will carry on exactly as before. In this calm persistence, the moon offers a gentle reminder that continuity itself can be restful, providing a stable background where thoughts can slow, attention can soften, and rest can emerge naturally, supported by motion that never rushes and never demands awareness. The moon's cycle continues to influence human awareness even when it is not consciously observed. Many people find comfort in knowing that the moon follows the same rhythm each month, independent of schedules or routines. This quiet reliability can create a subtle sense of grounding, where time feels less fragmented and more gently connected. The lunar phases also demonstrate how light can shape perception without altering reality. The moon itself never changes shape, size, or structure, yet its appearance seems to transform continuously. This gentle reminder shows how change can be experienced without anything being lost, offering a calming perspective on transformation. The steady repetition of the moon's phases has allowed them to serve as one of the earliest natural clocks. Long before mechanical timekeeping, people relied on the moon's slow changes to mark passing days and months. This ancient connection between observation and rhythm reflects a quieter relationship with time, one that unfolds naturally rather than being measured precisely. Moonlight during different phases interacts softly with Earth's surface, creating subtle shifts in brightness rather than dramatic contrasts. Shadows remain gentle, edges blur slightly, and landscapes feel quieter under lunar illumination. This softness contributes to the moon's long association with rest and reflection. The moon's predictable orbit also highlights the stability of the Earth-Moon system. Despite the vastness of space, their relationship remains balanced and enduring. This stability allows the lunar cycle to repeat without interruption, offering a calm example of long-term harmony and motion. The gradual nature of lunar change makes it easy to overlook individual phases altogether. One night blends into the next, creating a sense of continuity rather than separation. This blending supports a relaxed awareness, where attention does not need to reset or refocus. The moon's phases are shaped entirely by geometry, not energy output. There are no bursts, no fluctuations, and no surges involved. Light simply reaches different areas as angles change. This simplicity reinforces how calm outcomes can arise from straightforward, stable relationships. Even as technology has advanced, the moon's phases remain unchanged. Satellites orbit Earth, cities glow brightly, and nights are often illuminated artificially, yet the moon continues its cycle unaffected. This quiet persistence offers reassurance that some natural rhythms remain untouched by change. The moon's cycle does not belong to any single culture or place. It is shared equally across the planet, offering a universal rhythm that connects distant regions through the same pattern of light and shadow. This shared experience can feel quietly unifying. Taken together, These qualities show the lunar phases as more than an astronomical phenomenon. They form a gentle, repeating backdrop to life on Earth, offering consistency without demand. In their slow, predictable rhythm, the phases of the moon provide a calm structure where change feels safe, time feels spacious, and rest can settle naturally without needing attention or effort. The moon's cycle unfolds at a pace that is slow enough for the human mind to relax into it. Unlike many changes that demand immediate attention, lunar phases progress gently, allowing nights to blend together without sharp distinctions. This gradual unfolding creates a sense of continuity, where time feels less divided and more fluid, supporting a calmer awareness of passing days. The light reflected by the moon is shaped by its dusty surface, which scatters sunlight softly rather than reflecting it sharply. This scattering gives moonlight its muted quality, reducing contrast and glare. Even during brighter phases, the light feels diffused and restful, encouraging quiet observation rather than alertness. The moon's phases continue regardless of weather or visibility. Clouds may cover the sky, but the cycle remains unchanged above them. This independence from conditions on Earth reinforces a feeling of reliability, where the rhythm continues steadily without being affected by temporary obstacles or interruptions. The regularity of the lunar cycle has made it a quiet reference point for many natural systems. Plants, animals, and ecosystems respond subtly to changing light levels across the month. These responses are gradual and adaptive, mirroring the moon's own slow progression and reinforcing harmony rather than disruption. The moon's motion through space is smooth because it follows a stable orbit shaped by gravity and momentum. There are no sudden corrections or adjustments required. This effortless movement allows the cycle of phases to repeat cleanly, offering an example of how balance can maintain itself over immense spans of time. The shifting phases also change how the moon interacts visually with the night sky. At certain times it dominates gently, while at others it retreats into the background, allowing stars to become more visible. This alternating emphasis creates a natural balance between light and darkness that feels soothing rather than dramatic. The moon's phases never overlap or skip. Each one arrives in the same order at the same pace every month. This consistency removes uncertainty and allows the mind to rest in predictability, knowing that nothing unexpected will interrupt the rhythm. The slow return of light after the darkest phase of the cycle happens without announcement. There is no single moment that signals change. Instead, brightness grows quietly, night by night. This gentle return emphasizes how renewal in nature often begins subtly, without fanfare or urgency. The moon's cycle continues across generations, unchanged by human activity. While technology, culture, and landscapes evolve, the moon maintains its steady pattern. This long-term consistency offers a sense of perspective, reminding us that some rhythms are larger and slower than everyday concerns. Together, these qualities make the lunar phases a calm framework rather than an event. They provide structure without pressure, change without disruption, and repetition without fatigue. In following this gentle rhythm, the mind can settle into a quieter state, where time feels spacious and rest arrives naturally, supported by a pattern that never rushes and never asks to be followed closely. The moon's cycle carries a sense of steadiness because it is governed by relationships that change very little over time. The distance between Earth and Moon varies only slightly, and these variations unfold gradually. This stability ensures that the rhythm of phases remains familiar, allowing each month to feel comfortably similar to the last without becoming repetitive. Moonlight reaches Earth after reflecting from a surface covered in fine dust and rock. This texture scatters light in many directions, softening its arrival. The result is illumination that feels gentle and calm, never sharp, allowing the night to remain restful even when the moon is bright. The lunar phases progress in a continuous flow rather than discrete steps. There is no clear boundary where one phase ends and another begins. Instead, the moon transitions smoothly, night by night, encouraging perception to relax into a sense of continuity rather than division. The moon's presence in the sky often aligns with the quieter hours of human activity. Late evenings, early mornings, and deep night provide a natural frame for observation without distraction. This timing allows the moon to exist alongside stillness, reinforcing its association with rest and reflection. The cycle of phases also influences how shadows appear on Earth. Under moonlight, shadows are softer and less defined than those cast by the sun. This subtlety reduces contrast and visual intensity, contributing to an environment that feels calm and easy on the senses. The moon's phases are the same for everyone on Earth, regardless of location. This shared rhythm connects distant places through a common pattern of light and shadow. Knowing that the same phase appears across continents can create a quiet sense of unity, where experience feels shared rather than isolated. The moon's orbit remains tilted slightly relative to Earth's orbit around the sun. This tilt introduces gentle variation without disrupting the cycle. Eclipses remain rare, while phases continue steadily, allowing the moon's regular rhythm to dominate without interruption. The gradual change in lunar illumination encourages patience. Because differences from one night to the next are subtle, awareness does not need to track detail. This lack of urgency allows the mind to drift, noticing change only when it feels natural to do so. The moon's cycle continues unaffected by artificial light on Earth. Cities may glow brightly, yet the moon's rhythm persists above them, unchanged. This persistence offers reassurance that natural patterns remain intact even as environments evolve. In following this gentle cycle, the moon demonstrates how repetition can be soothing rather than dull. Each phase returns with quiet familiarity, offering a stable backdrop to nights that come and go. Within this steady repetition, the mind can rest easily, supported by a rhythm that unfolds calmly, without demand, and without the need to be followed closely. The moon's cycle continues to offer calm because it unfolds independently of intention or awareness. It does not respond to observation, expectation, or interpretation. Whether watched closely or not at all, the rhythm remains unchanged. This quiet independence can feel reassuring, suggesting that balance does not require effort or attention to be maintained. The gradual progression of lunar phases allows the night sky to change without disruption. One evening blends into the next, creating a seamless experience rather than a sequence of events. This blending supports a relaxed sense of time, where moments do not feel sharply separated but gently connected. Moonlight during different phases interacts with Earth's atmosphere in subtle ways. As it passes through air, particles scatter the light softly, reducing intensity and smoothing edges. This interaction gives moonlit nights a muted quality, where visibility feels calm rather than stimulating. The moon's predictable rhythm has often been associated with reflection rather than action. Because its changes are slow and familiar, they invite contemplation without urgency. This association has endured across cultures, reinforcing the moon's role as a quiet presence rather than a signal for activity. The phases of the moon also demonstrate how change can be cyclical rather than linear. Light does not move toward a final state but returns repeatedly. This looping pattern can ease the mind's tendency to seek completion, offering comfort in the idea that rest and renewal are built into the same rhythm. The moon's steady orbit continues to shape nights gently, without altering its speed or direction. There is no acceleration toward brightness, and no hesitation toward darkness. Each phase receives the same calm attention from gravity, reinforcing equality within the cycle. The subtle nature of lunar change allows observation to be passive. One does not need to track dates or names of phases to experience the rhythm. Simply knowing that the moon continues its cycle can be enough to create a sense of continuity and calm. The moon's presence has remained constant even as Earth's environment has changed dramatically. Ice ages, climate shifts, and technological growth have all occurred beneath the same lunar rhythm. This endurance offers perspective, reminding us that some patterns persist quietly through vast change. The gentle alternation of light and shadow across the moon's surface reveals texture without emphasis. Features appear and recede slowly, allowing the surface to feel familiar rather than dramatic. This softness reinforces the moon's calming visual presence. Taken together, these aspects show the lunar phases as a background rhythm rather than a focal phenomenon. They offer structure without pressure, change without disruption, and repetition without fatigue. In this gentle continuity, the moon provides a stable, soothing pattern where the mind can loosen its grip on time, allowing rest to arrive naturally, supported by a cycle that never rushes and never asks to be followed closely. The moon's rhythm remains calming because it is shaped by balance rather than force. Gravity guides its motion smoothly, without sudden pulls or corrections. This balance allows the moon to continue its path effortlessly, reinforcing the sense that stability in nature often comes from gentle alignment rather than control. The lunar cycle also demonstrates how predictability can be comforting. Knowing that the moon will return to familiar shapes without variation allows the mind to release concern about uncertainty. This predictability does not limit curiosity, but instead provides a steady foundation where attention can rest. Moonlight has a unique softness because it reflects sunlight indirectly. By the time that light reaches Earth, it has travelled a long distance and lost any harsh intensity. This softened illumination supports quiet environments, where visual stimulation remains low and the atmosphere feels restful. The moon's slow movement through the sky allows nights to feel spacious rather than rushed. Hours pass gently as the moon drifts without urgency. This slow passage can influence perception of time, making moments feel longer and less pressured. The phases of the moon never compete with one another. Each phase arrives calmly, occupies its place briefly, and then gives way to the next. There is no hierarchy of importance, only continuity. This equality within the cycle can feel soothing, offering a reminder that every stage has value without needing emphasis. The moon's orbit remains remarkably consistent, even across immense spans of time. Small variations occur gradually and predictably, never disrupting the cycle. This long-term consistency contributes to the moon's role as a quiet anchor in the night sky. As lunar light shifts, it interacts gently with natural surfaces on Earth. Water reflects it softly, landscapes glow faintly, and clouds diffuse it evenly. These interactions create environments that feel calm and subdued, rather than bright or demanding. The moon's phases continue regardless of human schedules or concerns. Nights may feel busy or quiet, yet the cycle remains unchanged above them. This independence can feel reassuring, suggesting that rest and rhythm exist beyond daily pressures. The repetition of lunar phases encourages a sense of familiarity that grows deeper over time. Even without conscious observation, the rhythm becomes known. This familiarity allows the mind to feel grounded without needing to engage actively. Together, these quiet qualities make the lunar cycle a gentle presence rather than a spectacle. It offers calm through repetition, balance through motion, and comfort through predictability. Within this steady rhythm, the mind can slow naturally, allowing thoughts to soften and rest, to settle in without effort, supported by a pattern that continues patiently night after night. As this quiet journey through the lunar phases begins to soften and drift into the background, there is nothing left to follow and nothing left to understand. The moon will continue its steady rhythm on its own, moving calmly through light and shadow, repeating the same gentle cycle it has followed for ages. You may notice your thoughts becoming less defined now, like moonlight fading softly at the edge of the sky. That easing is natural. Just as the moon does not hurry through its phases, Your mind does not need to reach any conclusion or destination. Everything can remain open and unforced. Let your breathing stay slow and easy. Let your body rest exactly where it is, supported by stillness rather than effort. Imagine yourself beneath a quiet sky, where the moon continues its path whether you're watching or not, steady and patient above you. The lunar phases remind us that change does not require urgency, and repetition does not require effort. Light grows and fades, shadow returns and recedes, and the rhythm continues without demand. In that rhythm, rest feels natural. Thank you for spending this time with the sleepy scientist. Whenever the world feels loud or thoughts feel heavy, you're always welcome to return to these gentle explorations, where science moves slowly and nothing asks for attention. For now, allow the calm to remain. Let the moon continue its quiet journey beyond awareness, and let whatever comes next arrive softly, in its own time, without needing to be noticed at all. Good night,